say I'm disgusted is an understatement after that. The thing is you can take your pick within the pitch, the referee and our 11 players. Who was worse out of them three? Everything was shit tonight. Everything.
Yeah. So welcome to the channel, the Gerry Jolie Janita show. So I'm joined here by James and Debbie after the game. Lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. Have to be honest and say I thought we got pretty much what we deserved from the game. So and what will no doubt be the shortest segment of the show. Debbie, I'll let you start with any possible positives we can take out of that.
Final whistle. It weren't really box office Saturday night TV, was it?
No.
We're used to seeing Leeds a lot better. Well, I mean, for me, we never got out of the starting blocks. I mean, first half I thought we were poor, probably worse than we were against Southampton. But then I thought, against Southampton, I didn't think we were great first half. So I thought maybe half time will change things and, can he see what we can see? But then second half we came out and I thought we were worse than we were first half, to be honest. I don't know. Obviously, Struijk in midfield at the start didn't do it for us. For me, he's too slow in there. He offers nothing in midfield whatsoever. He's a great defender, but as a midfielder, no, I think that was key tonight for me, to be honest. Well, until he got subbed, but yeah, I mean, I can't really take many positives from it, to be honest. I'd like to say Roberts and Costa took the chances, but for me, I don't think they did. No, I'm struggling.
What about yourself, James? Is there anything?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing tonight. I'm usually pretty upbeat, and I think I said it last night. Even when we lose, you can generally say 9 times out of 10 you can say we've played well, we've given it a go. I thought it was absolutely abysmal. I thought the last time I felt this bad was after the Brighton defeat at Elland Road. I thought, as I said, well, just talking to you off there, you can decide between the pitch and the referee were absolutely. The pitch is disgusting. I just can't understand how. Yeah, I understand that the drainage systems, it is the biggest problem. You can't polish a turd, but I mean, come on, you guys get the pitch fucking better than that. I thought the referee was absolutely embarrassing. I thought some of his decisions. How did Target still stay on the pitch? How did Mings not get booked as well? Things like that. But again, that isn't excusing how we played because we were absolutely atrocious tonight. And as you know, I'm pretty confident normally, and I say it how it is. But I thought from start to finish tonight, I thought that was definitely as equal as Brighton. I thought we were shit in both of them games, and they were the 2 worst performances of the season for me.
I would maybe throw West Ham at home into that as well. But
better in that game, to be fair. It was a lot better in that game than the other two. Yeah. But personal opinion.
The one positive I could take out of it is it's another home game on that pitch out of the way. Which it's quite sad to say that, but I'm just looking here. So, like, our remaining home games, we've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and Spurs all still to play at home. Obviously Sheffield United and West Brom as well. But you're kind of looking and thinking it could get worse. Like, but I suppose like at the end of the day, we don't want to be too negative because obviously the season overall has been pretty good, but tonight it was very frustrating. Some of the things like one of my pet hates is like, you see a goalkeeper taking the goal kicks or he's not taking the goal kicks, and he may as well have had Mings in nets instead of him because for all he had to do other than. He didn't have anything to do, and like he obviously wasn't right, and it was so comfortable. And I thought, yes, I agree that the referee was poor, but I thought we were equally poor in how we after that. I thought we were a bit naive.
I mean, we had 26 seconds in, we had the chance from Rafinha. Well, yeah, but Bamford slipped in when he put the ball in. Rafinha obviously couldn't connect, and then they go down the other side, and Watkins, I think, slipped to get their crossing, and they end up scoring from it. It's just crazy. But then saying that, you're looking, I think 17 minutes in, El Ghazi had had 3 good chances at goal.
I just still can't get, and I love Bielsa, we all love Bielsa, he's an absolute genius, he's turning his football club around, and you know me, I don't ever like to criticise too much, and but I don't buy this, you can't criticise it because it's Bielsa.
Yeah.
How many more games is he going to have to take before he realises Stroud cannot play in midfield? I just don't understand. We looked at that, and he was, after the games he's played this season, I thought, he's seen the Palace game, he's seen the Arsenal game, he's seen the I can't think.
Villa away as well.
Yeah, Villa away. The first 12 minutes he got subbed. He's seen all the games that he struggled in there. Why has he started him in there tonight? He's a great centre half. He really is.
When he got subbed, I felt sorry for him.
Why is he playing him in there? He's too slow to play in there. He can't read the game properly. I just don't get. When you've got Stuart Dallas at the minute, who's probably the only player, we said last night on the show, he's probably the only player currently fit who can play in there. Every Leeds fan I've spoken to in the last 48 hours, 72 hours, said the same thing. There's only one player, one fit player who can play in there, and that's Dallas. I've not heard a single Leeds fan say Stroud can play in there. We've seen the games, he cannot play in there. Why persist with a solution that clearly doesn't work? It's not a solution if it doesn't work.
Well, I was kind of, over the last couple of weeks, I've become slightly obsessed with that position, obviously, whenever Calvin Phillips, and because we've kind of been making some money. And I find myself during games basically just watching that area of the pitch. And it was like a game of hide and seek. It was like once Cooper got the ball, he basically ran in behind the attacking midfielder to cut off that passing lane, and then as soon as it went across the Llorente, he done exactly. It was like he had no sense of like where the space was, and there was even a couple of times where Llorente tried to bring the ball into the midfield, and he passed it to Strike, and he then passed it back to Cooper, and you're like, Jesus man, like what are you doing in there? Like,
it's straight to life. I agree.
And I have to ask as well, and I 100% agree with this. You can't criticize somebody. See, whenever somebody's doing something wrong, I'm going to say, and believe me, 9 times out of 10, Bielsa's doing things right. But so 45 minutes, Strike was garbage. It was absolutely rubbish in that position. And what like made him think I'm going to give him 7 minutes here to turn it around? Like what happened between 45 and 52 minutes to think I'm going to change it? That's his chance. Like literally at halftime, I posted on Twitter 3 subs, and they were the 3 subs that ended up happening. Yet we pissed about and wasted 25 minutes doing it. That said,
I think the most obvious subs on the so obvious.
Everybody knew it. Everybody knew who the 3 guys are that he doesn't particularly trust, and the 3 that he does trust that's on the bench. It was obvious why he wasted 20. That said, it didn't change anything because the guys even that come on, nobody looked at it.
To be fair, I actually thought Paolo did okay when he came on. I actually thought we looked better. I thought we actually looked for some different passes and tried to play a bit more. I'm not saying he was a world beater, but I thought we did look slightly better when he came on. And the only other positive, just probably talking from a level point of view, was I actually thought Coop played quite well tonight. And again, it's clutching at straws. I know that it's clutching at straws, but I thought he was steady as could be. And I thought when Pablo came on, I thought he did okay. To be fair, I didn't think he was poor. I didn't think he was great, but I did think he tried to make things happen. And to be fair, if you watch the first 70 minutes before he came on, did we try and make anything happen? There was nothing. But like you say, Gerry, what did he see in that first 45 minutes that he thought, let's give him a little bit more time? What has he not seen in previous games to think he should be in there? The substitutions were too late. Bringing in Pablo on for 20 minutes. Yeah, we'll probably still be playing until tomorrow this time and not score. But at least when Hernandez came on, at least we actually looked a little bit more livelier and tried to create something. It's 20 minutes in a game when you've been out, well, not necessarily outplayed, but did we create anything? There was something came on the screen in the second half, about 25 minutes into the second half. they'd had 2 shots on target, and we'd had none. And we'd had 65% of the ball.
Yeah,
There's no creativity there.
I think it were about 70 minutes in. There was 65 possession to Leeds, but what had we created? Nothing. Nothing that I can remember, really.
Even the only one that where I can, the one that was a really good chance, early that sort of was before that was the one that fell to Roberts. And even then, it wasn't really something that was a created chance. It was Rafinha hit a shot, and the rebound fell to him. But I just thought whenever like it's in the replay, the keeper's standing like this, and he's got a clear line down both sides. Like you could have drove a bus down into the bottom corner, and it was no composure. But again, I don't want to necessarily criticize him because he probably is a bit rusty. But it was an opportunity that if he wants to push his way into the Leeds team and be somebody that's going to be there next season, because we are going to improve. And for me, like realistically, if Rodrigo was fit, he wouldn't be near the team. So I just think if he wants to try and push himself forward, he needs to be better, and he didn't do it there for me tonight. What else?
There's always levels to the game, to a game and to a season. And let's be realistic, it's been a fantastic season. We all agree that. And it's not about what I don't like is some people think you can't criticise the team. Well, me, I like to say how it is. If they've played well, they've played well. If we've played well and got beat, I'll say it. If we've not played well and won, I'll say it. Tonight, we didn't play well and we didn't win. And there's no one can cover and paper any cracks over tonight. It was shocking. But in the bigger picture, the grand scheme of things, it's been a fantastic season. You are going to have games like this. We're all going to feel frustrated because at the end of the day, we love the club. We fucking bleed it. It's what we are as fans. It doesn't mean we can't criticise, because tonight was shocking. But again, as I say, in the bigger picture, very, very good season. I won't single any players out. Obviously, Roberts and Costa will probably get the scapegoat treatment, so to speak, because they're the players that do all the time, and they were to come in tonight and pull up some trees. But was there really an outstanding Leeds player tonight? No, there really wasn't. I thought Cooper was about his best player, and that's really clutching at straws.
I think Villa came not to lose a game. Villa came not to get drubbed like they did at their place. And I think once they got that early goal, we were then up against it. But I do think our team selection with Struijk playing where he did, I did think it had a knock-on effect to the rest of the team, because I think that Dallas had probably his worst game for a long time for me.
Very cool.
And usually he's penetrating going forward. I thought Click, was he fully fit? Well, he lasted well. But again, the pitch, we keep blaming the pitch. It's the same for both sides. I do know that. But it's like, I don't know, sometimes he was stretching and then he didn't want to go for the ball. Sometimes there was a 50-50 ball. He didn't go in for the ball because maybe he might have got injured a bit more. I just think that tonight we just didn't show up, to be honest, at both halves, which is very disappointing for me.
To be fair, Gerry's comments about the pitch, I mean, that is a massive plus, isn't it? It's one less game to play at home this season.
Totally.
The sooner we can rip that pitch up, rip the drainage system up and play again. But surely there's something you can do, maybe covering the pitch, stop it getting so much water on it, just something. You've got to be able to do. You're not telling me that you've laid a £300,000 new pitch that you've bought from Spurs and it still be that bad.
I don't know.
It's no better than it was. In fact, it's probably worse because the Brighton game, I know the pitch was churned up, but the players weren't slipping over.
Exactly.
Since the new pitch has been laid, it's churning up and you're falling over. Surely there's something you can do. There's got to be, just to try and see it through. But I honestly think it's worse than it was before. I honestly do.
I think it'll be hard to disagree with it. Another player that I think I probably have to mention, because I'm always the first whenever he does the great things which we've been used to.
Yeah.
But Rafinha was bad tonight. His touches were bad. His passing was bad. But I was probably, I would say, his worst performance, and probably since he's been at Leeds. But maybe some of them early ones were. But I think he was another one that just didn't get into the game at all. And it was just really frustrating. Like, it was every time you like kind of 2 or 3 touches and like a nice wee bit of football, and then somebody just passes to somebody that's not there, or takes a bad touch. It was just a horrible game of football, as you say, Debbie. Villa kind of came where, like, I wouldn't look at it and say Villa were in any way impressive, but I wouldn't also say that Villa didn't deserve not to win. They deserved to win the game. They took pretty much their one decent chance, and
Yeah.
they were solid. I thought that while I don't like it, I thought they were very professional. Sort of maybe would be the word for it. Yeah, it was all, not even the play action, but it was just every time there was just mouthing, just constantly going. Your guy Target, like probably the reason he didn't get sent off was because I thought for a while he was actually refereeing the game. So he was never going to put himself like.
That's too nice.
I've said we are too nice. We're too naive. I'm trying to think. The young lad Ramsey, who played in midfield for Aston Villa, he made, I counted, 7 fouls before he got subbed. He didn't get a booking. Now, whether you can say were any of the individual tackles with yellow card, I'd argue maybe 1 or 2 was. But even if you say they weren't, an accumulation of 7 fouls has got to count up to a yellow card. He didn't receive one. I thought the Tyrone Mings at the end of the penalty box from that last corner. What was it? What was he at the ground in for? He was holding his ankle. Bamford was 2 yards away from him.
No one even touched him.
And there was one with Bamford chased down in the bottom corner as well. I can't think it was Conser, whatever his name is. Again, never even touched him. Threw himself to the ground. Got a free kick.
But the Tyler Roberts booking.
We never do that. We never do that.
The Tyler Roberts booking. It was a foul on him. The referee would give it, then their player actually rugby tackled him as he was getting up to try and play the early ball, and then obviously Roberts lashed out, granted, but then he goes and books both players. Well, I'm sorry, he actually fouled Roberts, and
to be fair, you could actually argue that tackle you can argue was actually more a red than a yellow. That was naughty. That stood down his calf and onto his Achilles. That was a naughty tackle. It was definitely a second yellow, minimum.
With regards to the Roberts one, I thought that he probably deserved the booking because straight out about 2 minutes before he took the really bad touch and then landed the foul. I'm sitting here looking at the comments as well. I hardly ever get comments in these, and I honestly think of about 30 comments from Aston Villa fans here. So there's one for them. But
you probably are right. Just that one. I think Roberts, his first touch and what he was trying to do, he was frustrated, and he probably did deserve the yellow card before that, to be honest. But I don't think that was fair, to be honest.
Yeah. It was a boring game. From a neutral perspective,
I wondered my wife was sitting watching the game, and she never really watches football, and just the one you were talking about, that one where Mings went down in the box, and I was like, now you look at that guy and you tell me what contact there was made with him, and she was like, the guy kind of hits him in the ribs, and I was like, what do you mean? She thought I was asking her about what Mings done on, I think it was Bamford, and she was like, oh no, well nothing happened to him, like. But I don't know. She doesn't really watch football, like, but she was sitting and she literally thought it was the other way around, like. But I'm gonna. So who's this here? Paul Merson, Villa legend. I think Paul Merson needs to go back to the bar. Would be more. This guy's caught when he wants. There's some dickhead on.
Lorente, well, to be honest, yeah. I mean, I have made, Lorente were embarrassing, to be honest.
No, I think he's out.
Yeah, Lorente rolling around on the floor twice, ridiculous. We don't Leeds. I don't respect players doing that for me.
That was bad.
Disgusting.
That was bad. I don't agree with things like that. That was one incident. Which was bad. He rolled around like he'd been shot. Yeah. Completely agree. But we're talking one incident here. I can name 5, 6, 7, 8 times Villa did that. So again, there is perspective. Last time I checked, 8 was bigger than 1.
But I still don't like to see it. I don't like to see it.
I hate to see players kind of faking injuries, and it was disgusting. And we said at the time
embarrassing it was.
But it was every time Every time Villa did it too many times. Too many times.
It makes me laugh when they go down and they're rolling around and they're holding the leg, then they hold the head. It's like trying to make your mind up which it is, because it's quite embarrassing, this. It really is. But it's foreign players, isn't it? You're going to get it. But, 9 times out of 10, I do think we are a good team and we don't try for those free kicks. I really do believe that. But I did think twice today, Llorente, first half and second half, were a bit embarrassing.
And what did you think of his actual overall performance throughout the match? I thought there was a few times where Watkins kind of gave him the runaround a wee bit.
He did. He's a very good player, Watkins. He's a great player.
He is a good player.
He certainly leads the line well. He's a very similar player to Bamford. Now, I know Aston Villa fans might say I'm biased. I do think Bamford's a slightly better version of Watkins. I honestly do, and that's generally being completely honest. But I do think Watkins is a very, very good player, and I think in the next couple of years, don't forget Watkins is a lot younger than Bamford as well. And to be fair, Watkins has probably got the ability to be better in 4 or 5 years' time when he reaches Bamford's age. But at the moment, Bamford is a better player. But again, he's a very, very good version of Bamford. And I thought, as you say, he gave Llorente the runaround. I thought him and El Ghazi were Aston Villa's best players by an absolute mile.
Yeah.
I think your guy Watkins, I thought sort of in the players that I've seen us playing against this season, I thought whenever we get the stuff in at home to Leicester, I thought that night 40 was brilliant, and I would say Watkins was probably the next best I've seen against us this season, sort of leading that line, as you say. And just, we seem to really struggle. We see whenever a centre or forward comes out into the wide positions, tortures us, really tortured us. But
all I will say about Llorente is, I think when he went down and did about 5 somersaults on the floor, that his season were over. So I'm quite relieved that he played the 90 minutes and walked off the pitch.
Yeah. I think in some ways the sort of reaction was probably because he is a guy that's been injured. But at the end of the day, it took me back. Was it, what did you call that? Was it Adrian or something? Adrian, remember the guy? And there was a video about him, the Brazilian guy. But yeah, it was like that, and then it was funny. The guy kind of tries to lift him, and he gets up looking to fight with him. No, nothing wrong with him at all. Yeah.
I think he went up, didn't he, and had a word in his shell as if to say you should have stayed down there.
Yeah, I think it's just a frustrating night. But as I say, there's probably no point in. Probably the best response to that is to go and get a beer or something and move on. So I think we've 9 days now between our next match. So I hope that Bielsa has them doing murder ball about 3 times between now and then, just for punishment for being crap tonight. But it is what it is.
That you do,
you
do miss Phillips, you do miss Rodrigo. Look at Rodrigo at Villa away on that big pitch. He absolutely took the Michael, didn't he? Let's be fair, he took the Michael, didn't he? He was dictating play, and I just think I'm not saying we're necessarily square pegs and round holes, and I hate blaming injuries for certain results or defeats, but I think tonight, your Struicks, your Robertses, your Dallases here, there, and everywhere. That kind of tells when you've got so many injuries. I would love to see Robin Koch back in his side. As you said about Watkins, we always struggle with pace. Now you look at the centre halves. Cooper's not blessed with pace. Llorente's not blessed with pace. Strout's not blessed with pace. The only centre half we've got with any pace is Robin Koch, and unfortunately he's injured. And in terms of midfield, you can go on for days, but Rodrigo and Phillips, Phillips would certainly walk in 99% of teams in this league, probably barring Man City and arguably Liverpool. But looking this season, he'd probably walk into their side as well. But he'd walk into most sides in the league, and Rodrigo, for me, on his day, would walk in 75% of the sides easily. So for us, a mid-table side, which I believe we are, they are massive misses to us. Massive misses. I know we've got other players injured, but they're the real quality that we miss, in my opinion.
I think realistically, you could probably say there's like 100 million worth of talent really missing there, because like obviously if you've got Cock, he was maybe about 15 or something. I think was it 17 million something he was. Rodrigo was about 30, and you would probably get 50 for Phillips now if he was to go somewhere, like at least England international quality player. So yeah, like at the end of the day, top teams are going to struggle with injuries like that and
I
issues like
always thought, I
that.
talked before the game, Grealish being injured and about how it had been a big loss for Villa.
Yeah.
And I agree it was a big loss for Villa, but I always felt that when we've lost, okay, Rodrigo's a number 10, but for me it's still part of the midfield three, argument's sake. And you've got Phillips as well there. So you've actually got two out of your midfield core injured. Now for me, central midfield, or that midfield three, is your most important place on the field. And when you're missing two of your three players there, I thought for us it was a bigger crisis for us than it was for them. And I think tonight it showed. Yes, they missed Grealish. He's a quality player. We all know that. He's a diving bastard, but he's a good player. Sorry, my language, but he's a very good player. But I always felt that our injuries would be far more of a miss than what Grealish would be to them.
I think it kind of showed in a way where like they came into the game, probably if they had Grealish, the game might have been slightly different, and that they wouldn't have been so rigid, and it might have actually showed us partly more, because they kind of came and it was like, right, well, the only way we're going to win this game is by just sheer effort and hard work, and they were tough to break down. They were niggly. They were horrible to play against, and at the end of the day, like, we all get, like, I was super excited and I was at Tuesday night against Southampton and thought we were brilliant, deserved it. Didn't deserve it tonight. We got the result that we deserved. And like, I done plenty of shouting on Tuesday, and ultimately I have to take this one on the chin tonight. So I don't think I'll insult anybody's intelligence by asking for a Leeds man of the match tonight, because they were. We'll give it to the pitch, because it was the most influential performance for Leeds. No, it is what it is.
I don't think Cooper really did much wrong at the back, to be honest. I thought he held it together quite a bit, to be honest.
Again,
I don't think Cooper did much wrong, and I think the rest of the team probably did.
If I had to, then yeah. If you're asking me, Gerry, then you was really sort of twisting me arm for an answer. I couldn't give anybody else but Cooper.
But we're clutching at straws.
And again, that's clutching at straws. I didn't think Hernandez did bad, like I say, but really after those two, there was just literally nobody else for me. So I'm going to give it to Cooper. Just sheerly that you have to give one. So he is the one for me. What about you, Gerry? Is there one for you that stood out? If anybody?
Not really, no. To be honest, and even Cooper would be, if I was being pedantic, and as you say, I don't even think, and whenever I'm saying this, like, I'm only saying it to be argumentative, kind of. But was he the one that played whatever you call him, onside at the goal? I think that was Cooper.
That's a bit harsh on the slip.
Three players round him that just fucking watched him. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I'll tell you actually why I really specifically agree with what you said about the other players. Now, yes, Cooper should have been quicker going outside. It was like he was trying to like mark the guy. I think it was Watkins. He was trying to mark Watkins rather than just get out with the line. But see in the actual goal, see with your man's touch. If we hadn't have switched off, and that wasn't Cooper, if we hadn't have switched off, it was a bad touch. So it went away, and it was maybe landed 3 or 4. He was socially distancing from the ball, you could say, and he still had time to put it in the net. Do you know what I mean? So that was on everyone else, and it wasn't ideal. But no, as you say, Cooper, like, he done what he does. Do you know what I mean? He definitely seemed more capable of dealing with Watkins when it was he was on his side. I did think Llorente got tortured by him a wee bit, but I don't think there was many plus points tonight. It's just it is what it is. I think if you were picking up,
let's just take that then.
I think if you were picking a top three, they would all have been in black tonight, unfortunately. But well, we'll not complain because it's been good. It's been a good season so far, and hopefully we can
on a
go
positive
and
note, Gerry, in the top half of the table,
Yeah.
after so many games, and to have so many injuries, and to be complaining about a defeat where we only just got narrowly beat when arguably we had a couple of chances where we maybe could have equalised. You could argue Villa deserved the game tonight, and to be fair, they probably did. If the game had been a draw, no one would really have said it was unjust. But,
a ball draw.
It was a ball draw, but Villa did just deserve the game tonight. So let's put it in perspective of the season. We're 3 quarters of the way through the season. We're in the top half of the table. We've got a lot of injuries.
Let's have 9 days off and try and
recuperate, and let's go to West Ham and get a good result. We get a good result at West Ham. No one's going to talk about this game, are they? No one talk about this game.
For my positive note to end on is our next game's not at Elland Road, so I'm happy with that. But we'll end it there because we're just going to depress ourselves. But hopefully we'll be back then. As I say, that game's next Monday night. So thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to James and Debbie for coming on tonight. And hopefully
it was difficult tonight, mate. It was really difficult tonight coming on here after that.
It is pretty. I done one, and it was the Everton game, and it was me and John, and it was like 10:30 at night, and or 11 o'clock nearly we were going, and I was just sitting thinking to myself, I just want to go to bed and cry. I'm not in the mood for this shit. But sure. But yeah, but sure. But anyway, thanks for coming on as always. These are always entertaining guests, and it's good to have you on. So thanks very much, and hopefully the next time we meet will be in more positive circumstances. So thanks everyone, and we'll catch you again next week. See you later, folks. Thank you.
See you later.